Hello, I wanted to give you just some information on a feature in Google Classroom which allows you to sync or export grades from Classroom to Skyward. So what we're going to talk about in this session, and by the way, I'm using PowerPoint with something called Cameo. See, that's what this video is inside the presentation, is it's a Cameo, and what it does is allow me to record narrations over the slides and send those out either as a video or as an interactive slide. So first things first, what we are going to cover is we're going to talk about Google Classroom and how it exports to Skyward, and give you some tips for getting started with that and making sure that you have no issues that need troubleshooting. So next thing, we'll deal with general practices. So general practices on getting this done. So just an overview or general overview of what's going on here is that Google Classroom can now create and push assignments from Classroom to Skyward. It's only a one-way sync, and so it's really not necessarily a sync, it is a grade export, but it does it one-to-one as far as students, and if they're set up in that classroom, then they will go to Skyward if it recognizes those same students. The rule is that you can only have one Skyward class associated with one Google class. So if you have multiple sections meeting at the same time, you may have to make a choice there, either to separate those into separate Google classrooms so they can each sync with Skyward one-to-one, or you just decide to go manual on those grades that did not sync. So grade export, things to know is that the primary teacher has the ability to sync. So whoever's listed as that primary teacher of record, they will have that ability. Also, that if the wrong section is tied to class, you may deal with a lot more syncing errors than would happen if you had the right one. So just pay attention to what I'm going to say in the next slide or two, and you'll be all right. Also note that due dates that you set in Classroom must fall within the grading period that you're currently in Skyward. If you're outside of those dates, or let's say you're at the last week of the 9 weeks and you want it to count for the following 9 weeks, you won't be able to do that as long as you're still live in the current 9 weeks. Also, please don't get caught off guard. As soon as you update those grades coming from Classroom into Skyward, if you have some rules in there that are going to send out notifications, then those notifications are going to go out. So make sure you're paying attention to how you have those set up, your due dates, and what those notifications are, because once those grades go in and those notifications go out, Google Classroom may have just triggered those for you. All right, so I want to make sure that you are well aware that when you go into Skyward, you'll see this period number here, which is the class period that you have, and then you'll see the course number, and then you'll see a section number. Notice that with this particular example that I have, first period is section 7, second period, and then third period is section 5, fourth is 6th. So you see how these are out of order? You may think right off the bat that your first period is your lowest number. It's not necessarily the case here. So just keep that in mind, that period 1 is now my section 7. So for the example that I'm going to give today, I just want you guys to know that section 7 is my first period. Just note that as we're going through this. The next tip I want to share with you is that when you're setting up the class settings, so when you click the settings button, that little gear in the upper right hand corner, you'll have your class name right here. So in this case, it's first period, Texas history. You may even put the teacher's name up here. When you get to section, what you want to do, what we probably recommend is actually write the section that you got from Skyward down here so that it lines up. I'll show you why in just a second. But this just keeps a note of it for both you, students, parents, anyone who's looking at this course. It's right there, right in front of them to see. The next thing that you'll do is once you have that set up, you scroll down about a quarter of the way of the page, you go to General, and you click Link to Class. Once you click Link to Class, then what you'll see is the list of Skyward classes and courses that are assigned to that primary teacher of record. So here we go, we got Texas history, and notice that I'm in first period, but I'm choosing section 7. Notice that it reorders it by section or course number over here. So this is not first period. First period is section 7. Make sure that lines up, otherwise you're going to get a ton of errors the first time you try to sync. Once that's done, you make sure that those settings are saved. You roll back in from settings and you come over to grades. So once you click grades, then you'll see this button that says export to SIS or Student Information System. Let me just roll back over here. Remember when we put the section in? So that section now is going to show up here, and this is what the students see, and this is what you will see as well, saying that this is my course, this is my section. That's a great note to have, so that when time comes for, let's say you have to do this again, or it comes up in a kids section they need to see, and then align it with Skyward, they'll see that section show up. So the next thing you want to do is tap Export to SIS. Once you tap Export to SIS, then this dialog is going to pop up. It's going to show you the grades. So all of these are going to be synced if I hit this button now. But maybe I just want to sync one grade for today, save the rest of them for later as students are pulling these in. So I'll check this box for all and then select the grade that I do want to check. So in this case, it may just be the day 2 assignment. As soon as I do that, I know that 6 of them will update. That's either because it's already been created, all 24 kids have done it, and 6 of them gave me late work, so 6 of those grades will be pushed back into Skyward and updated. Otherwise, maybe just 6 of them, the rest of them are going to show up as unturned in or blank or 0, and once it goes in, then Skyward will handle the rest. So it's just telling you how many of those grades will update. Once you select the button to export to SIS, this thing is going to start spinning for anywhere between 20 seconds to 2 minutes. And once it's done, you'll get a notification down here telling you your progress. Maybe you had it all done perfectly, or maybe you had 3 or 4 errors. That may just be because you have mixed sections, or you have kids that are not in your Skyward class anymore that you just haven't deleted or archived out of your Google Classroom. It happens, it's okay, just make note of those errors. If you do want to know the details of them, just click it, and it'll tell you about that export. All right, so once you do that, that grade, so day 1 assignment, is the title that was created in Classroom. That's what's going to transfer over, and it's by default going to come in as a daily assignment. If you need to change any of that, just come over here, hit edit, and update the category, update the title, do whatever you need to do in Skyward, because of course that's your official record. And that is really it. You can come down here and check and verify that those scores are in there, but you're pretty much done. It has done its export, and that's pretty much the gist of it. So to wrap up, 1, I am in PowerPoint. This is a feature and something where I inserted Cameo, and that's why this video is within my PowerPoint presentation. I would just want to remind you that Classroom can only push grades into Skyward. It doesn't come back from Skyward. But any change that happens in Classroom, that's what will be updated. Only one Classroom can push, so it's 1-to-1. So whatever you have in Classroom, whatever is synced, that's what will sync in Skyward. Grades will follow normal notification settings set up in Skyward. So once you push it, if it's time to send a notification, it will send those notifications based on the grades that you have exported. Last but not least, make sure that the due dates, 1, that you have due dates set up for your assignments, 2, that the due dates that are set align with the grading period that you are currently in. Otherwise, they will not sync and you'll get an error. So thank you for watching. That's really all we have on this topic. If you have any other questions about this or any other thing dealing with the Google product, make sure you reach out to your friendly neighborhood ITC, and we'll be there to help you or your professional learning community out. Thank you.